first time that we met was at the New Year's party in 2020. And when we got asked to start the middle school group, we had not really, we like hung out a couple times just with other friends as well and gotten to know each other a little bit that way. But I think we got to know each other more just like working side by side too, and you know, with others leading the middle school group.
I started going to a group on Monday nights that she was a part of, and all my other friends were a part of too. So we got to kind of know each other through that, but again, we weren't really close. But when we started serving together and really like digging into what God had in store for us, that's when we really got to know each other and see each other's hearts. Because I mean, I could look at her and be like, oh, she's cute. But I saw her heart for youth, and I saw her heart for, like how she responded to the Holy Spirit, and that was like the best thing ever. That's what really made me get to know her and admire and fall in love with her, really. It was like 2 or 3 weeks before a men's encounter, and I was like, God, is this what you have for me? And I just felt him say no, and that crushed me. I think that God used that no for me to really just bring me into a deeper surrender to him. And at the time it sucked and it was terrible, but looking back on it, that was the way, and it was so much better than my way, which would have probably been disastrous.
He kind of like sat down with me and was like, I don't want you to think that I don't like you. Like, I definitely love getting to know you and hanging out with you, but I really think that God is telling me to wait. Like, now's not the right time. And I mean, we were both okay with that because I knew it was what God told him to do. It actually kind of made me like want to hang out with him more and get to know him more, because I was like, oh, he really wants to surrender to God, including like his relationships.
After the March 2020 Go Big started, we, like she said, 𝗦𝗂 came and was like, hey, we're gonna start this group for middle schoolers. Do you guys want to help out? So I was like, yeah. I had no idea she was gonna be there. That was an added bonus. When we started like serving together, and I started to like learn how she responded to God and how she, loved him, and how she served him, and how she like wanted to be with him, that was the best thing ever. Our
first date was at a lake in downtown Winter Garden, and ordered a pizza to the lake. Fast forward to April of last year, he took me out to dinner, and then we sat on a blanket at the same lake. We took a walk, and I knew it was coming. I knew he was gonna pop the question. So I'm like, my stomach is in knots, I'm so nervous. And then he's just like, I love you, I wanna like live our lives together. And so he popped the question there, and then afterwards he had all of our friends and family waiting like at, I think it was his parents' house, and we just like had a party.
That was God showing me that everything that he has planned for my life, for not even knowing it, our life at the time, was so much bigger than I had ever imagined.
A lot of the times he's gonna ask us to do something, and it's gonna seem pretty scary, and it's gonna, like, you're gonna think, well, the plan's not laid out. What about this? Or we don't have time to do this. But I think he's shown me, like, just obey what I ask of you, and I will, like, fill in the rest.
I think it's really easy to sit back and consume and sit there and receive, which is awesome. But when you take that step and you grab your friend or you grab your acquaintance at the time and you say, hey, let's go serve God together. Let's go on the coffee bar, or let's go serve at the next youth event, or let's do whatever it is, and you do that together, that's when you learn the person's heart. And it's not just looking at them and seeing them every week. You learn the person's heart and what their passions are and what God's calling them to do. And I think that's what brings, the family together, is not just consuming together, it's acting on our faith and getting involved.
Go Big kind of started off for me as just, giving a gift, tithing consistently every month. And since then, it's become something so much bigger than that. It's become like going big in our faith, in our relationships, going big and starting middle school groups, even when it doesn't, seem like it's the right time, or we're not gonna have, all the things that we need to do it, but just like going big and doing what God asks of me, even if I don't necessarily see how it's gonna work out. I think that's kind of what God has been showing me and telling me what go big means.
It started off small, and as God put more on our plate, he also sent more people. So it started off, just young adults, and what's cool to see is now the younger generation that we're teaching and that we're bringing in every week, they're starting to serve their next generation. God has placed that authority and the calling on our lives, so we know we can act in it in freedom and in power, because he has given that to us. And I think that's the coolest thing to see, is a bunch of young people that are new and are crazy and are obnoxious, but God's given us, he's laid it out before us, and he said, just go do it, just go act, and that's what we do. I love that about the team that we're a part of.